Hi, this is Amy Lore with Oils Wonderland, and this is the class Essential Oils for Everyday Living, which is effectively my Essential Oils 101 class. But I wanted to highlight how essential oils can really be integrated into your day-to-day life and teach you what essential oils are, how to use them safely, and some precautions. Why sourcing matters of essential oils and why just purchasing them at the grocery store or Amazon really is likely more harmful to your health than helpful. And then we're going to talk about the company Young Living as a good company for standards with the best sourcing and quality of essential oils to consider for getting your essential oils from. You'll see that branded information is throughout this class, but you're going to get definitely a lot of information beyond talking about specific brands. We're actually going to do very little of that. All right, so I'm getting into it. First, what are essential oils? So to understand essential oils, it's really understanding that they're the most powerful part of the plant. So if you've, walked through a garden or the forest, certainly you have smelled the aroma of the plants. And what you're smelling, those aromatics, are the essential oils. What's called volatile organic compounds is what essential oils are. And uh, the volatile nature, I was going to find the other version of that word, the volatile nature of the essential oils means that it easily dissipates in the air and kind of floats in the air. The molecules of those compounds, the molecules of the essential oil, easily float in the air. And that's what we encounter when we're using essential oils or when we're smelling the essential oils directly from the plant. And that volatility means that it can easily dissipate. And the fact that it's a volatile organic compound means that it's some kind of organic matter as well. So essential oils are volatile in that nature. They dissipate. So unlike other oily substances that have kind of that, like olive oil, which is a fatty oil, that doesn't dissipate quickly in the air. That's a different kind of fatty oil. So when we're talking about essential oils, there really isn't any fatty oil in it at all. The reason that we refer to them as essential oils is because the way that we derive essential oils from plants and throughout history is typically through a distillation process, which is where we take the plant matter of the plant. So maybe we take the leaves or the flowers or the rinds of the plant. And generally when we're distilling, we're taking the leaves or the flowers, we're putting it in a vat of water or in a vat in general that has steam. And we're using that steam to hopefully at a controlled temperature so it doesn't deteriorate the quality of the oils. And that steam distills the essential oils out of the plant matter. So at the end, you have water, which is actually at that point called a hydrosol, if you want to search that. And at the top layer, the essential oils float to the top. And then those are siphoned off, and that's the essential oils that we get in our bottles, hopefully. With Young Living, that's definitely the case, but that's not always the case with other companies, and we'll talk about why that is. So we're talking about essential oils being the powerful part of the plant. It's the aromatics of the plant. They are volatile, which means that they dissipate quickly in the air. And we're talking about the fact that they are not actually oily substances, as you would think of oils like olive oil. And why do plants have essential oils? Well, they're generally the plant's first line of defense against pests, harsh weather, drought, other insects or attacks. If there's an injury to the plant, you'll often see the plant responding to that. Let me actually show you an image here. This is frankincense resin. So if you've ever seen a tree that has this sappy substance, many trees actually, if they're wounded or injured or you cut off part of the branches, you'll see that oftentimes as a response to that, they'll have a resin or an ooze or something that is there as intended to help the tree heal or protect that vulnerable part of the tree from insects or other pests or fungus or any of those things that might damage the health of the tree. So there are many resins from trees that are also used to extract essential oils from, and frankincense is one of them. You can see a couple different forms of the frankincense here, the kind of wet resinous sap from the tree. And then you can see in the dish with the frankincense bottle, that same resin that has been, taken from the tree and has dried into little pieces of resin that you can either burn in a resin burner, or you can actually, if it's good quality resin, you can just go ahead and eat that or consume that to support your health. And there's different methods to extract the aromatics and the essential oil then from that resin. So this is all really important to understand kind of what you have in that bottle, because we're going to talk about why sourcing matters and why quality and purity of essential oils matter as well. So I started to talk a little bit about how essential oils are made, and typically they're steam distilled. Now, Young Living takes extra measures which take additional manpower and time to make sure that the steam that's used is temperature controlled. The reason being that if essential oils and the plant material used to extract the essential oils is exposed to high temperatures, it actually deteriorates the quality of the constituents in the essential oils that have the benefits that we look for and the aromatics that we look for. So to cut corners, many companies will actually use a higher temperature to extract the essential oils more quickly, and you'll get a different aromatic, you'll get a different aroma. You'll also get a more deteriorated essential oil with less potency. You could also imagine that many companies, if they are companies that actually own their farms and use different standards to source and harvest and farm those plants, you could imagine that there's a whole variety of corners that companies could cut and farms could cut in order to make the oils in the cheapest way possible and gain the most profit. So certainly using pesticides, certainly even cultivating the land with machinery, which might be fine. It might not harm the plants, but what we know about using machinery, heavy machinery on farms, is that over a period of a few years, it will completely deteriorate the ecosystem of the land, which makes it completely useless. It can't be used after that. So it's not a sustainable thing. I love what Young Living does to be sustainable, because they're actually looking at, they use animal labor in the most humane way possible, and they do everything by hand, uh, that is realistically possible for them to do, so they're not destroying the ecosystem of the land and the farms. They also make sure that before they even start planting on the land, they generally ensure that for at least 50 years, there have not been any chemicals used on that land before they even start planting. And that exceeds greatly USDA standards of organic, which is generally only a few years. So they really take some extra steps to make sure you're not getting any chemicals in your bottle of essential oil. One of the key things that's important with that is through the distillation process, any pesticides that have been in that plant, which the plants will hold on to any of those chemicals, and they'll also usually, suck them out of the earth and the ground as well, and it ends up in the plants. So when the plant material is distilled into essential oils, there's no way to actually remove any of those chemicals from the byproduct of essential oil. It ends up in there with it. So now you have this highly concentrated essential oil with some pesticides in it, and you're considering applying it on your skin or breathing it, and you're actually taking, a concentrated level of chemicals into your body with essential oils. And we'll talk in a moment why that really makes a difference because of the effects of essential oil. Okay, so how do you use essential oils? There's really three methods of using essential oils. The first is topically, so applying directly to your skin. The second is inhalation, and that's just basically breathing in the essential oils. And the third is internally, that you're digesting, you're consuming the essential oils in some way. So let's go back and look at topically and applying them to your skin. So because the essential oils are so concentrated, it's really important that you dilute the essential oil with what's called a carrier oil. So a carrier oil is a simple fatty oil, such as olive oil, almond oil, coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, which is the liquid version. Any of those can be carrier oils. So you'll take generally a higher ratio of the carrier oil with the drop of the essential oil, dilute it, and then you can apply it to your skin. This is because essential oils are concentrated, so it's wasteful to use more than is necessary. So you can extend the life of your bottle of essential oil by diluting if you're applying to your skin. Also, if you place directly on your skin, you can experience a sensitization reaction, which isn't necessarily allergic. It's just your body reacting to something that's so potent that it doesn't really know what to do with. I believe there's something like in one, I don't remember the statistics, but there's something like in one drop of essential oil, it will go to all of the cells of your body a few times over. So you don't really need that concentrated dose. And it's also just kind of a shock to your system. It's not necessary. Now, of course, on occasion, people will use essential oils undiluted, and that's kind of, you knowing your body and what your body needs, but you definitely want to be cautious with that. I'm not going to speak to this today, but there's definitely precautions with essential oils, with using them with children, with pets, people that have medical conditions, of course, and people that are pregnant. So you want to explore how they affect those populations directly and your specific conditions. And if you're actually looking to use them alongside other treatments or methods, you want to take a look at how they might impact all of that. Also, applying topically, there's certain oils that are hot, so they're warming, or they're cooling. So oils like oregano or rosemary or cinnamon are very warming oils. If you apply directly to your skin, you could actually get chemical burns because it's so hot. It's such a hot oil. Think of the same thing if you bite into the fresh oregano, you can feel how bitey it is. And then just imagine that concentrated by like 100. And that's what you're going to get in an essential oil drop. So you're going to dilute that at least a 4-to-1 ratio, probably a lot higher than that with any of the warming oils. So, research whether the oils you're using are heating or cooling, and the cooling might be peppermint or wintergreen. Think about when you chewed some peppermint leaf, it was cooling in the mouth. So you can also get chemical burns if you apply that directly to your skin. So always dilute, learn and what your body needs and wants with essential oils applied topically. There's also some essential oils that create photosensitivity to UV light, and those are generally citrus oils. So if you apply lemon essential oil to your skin and you go out in the sunlight, you could end up with blisters or things like that. So the best thing to do in those situations, if you're using any citrus oils on your skin, you're obviously diluting, but you're doing at least 12 hours, if not more, before you're going to be exposed to sunlight. Or you're using it under your clothing, that the clothing is going to mask that and keep that exposure from sunlight from happening. So those are some important precautions with using topically. And the next is inhalation. So one of the safest and easiest ways to use essential oils is with what's called a diffuser. And I have some photos later in the slides of a diffuser. The diffuser is something, it's electronic, you plug it in. There's a lot of different ones out there. I'm gonna have another quick presentation, another point about diffusers and how to select the right ones and precautions with that, but I won't get into that today. But diffusers, generally you put some water in it, you put a few drops of essential oils, essential oils in it. On top of the water, you put it back together, plug it in, and it diffuses with the water as a fine mist in the space that's around you. What's great about that is the dosage gets dissipated throughout the day, and therefore it's safer, more gentler on the body in that way. You can continue to smell the aromatics in your environment all throughout the day or throughout the night, and still receive the benefits of the essential oils as well. So we really encourage people to get a diffuser. And I also really encourage you to take a look at Young Living's diffusers, because there's some ways that you could cause more harm to yourself and also potentially deteriorate the quality of essential oils if you're not using the right kind of diffuser and quality. Young Living uses ultrasonic technology instead of heat in their diffusers, which is really, really important. Remember, I said that heat deteriorates essential oils. So lastly, of course, also you can just open a bottle of essential oil, put it to your nose, take some deep breaths. You can smell it that way as well and receive the benefits. The last way is internally. And with internal usage, it's really important that you're only ever taking essential oils internally if you are absolutely certain that the company that is distributing those essential oils has received FDA approval for those essential oils to be taken internally. that they can be used as food. Otherwise, you don't know what you're taking. You could be taking something that is adulterated and has all kinds of other ick in it, putting that in your system. You could create burns. There's all kinds of bad things that can happen. So Young Living was the first company to get essential oils approved by the FDA for internal usage. And that is specifically for their Vitality line of essential oils. So you'll see their essential oils, I don't have it in front of me here, but there is a white label that says Vitality on it. And that is their line that has been gone through the whole regulation process to get the FDA approval. Now it comes from the same exact vat of essential oils that are the non-white label, the non-Vitality. But as you know, with regulatory bodies, you have to take specific products through specific regulations to get their stamp of approval. So it actually really further amplifies and validates how good of a quality the Young Living products are. A few quick precautions with taking essential oils internally. We actually recommend that people do that pretty infrequently because taking any essential oils internally can disrupt the gut biome in your stomach, and you just don't want that to happen. So if you're taking them internally, again, you want to make sure that it's really necessary or you're doing it infrequently. If you do it, you want to pair it with something fatty again. And that's going to keep the essential oil from, so essential oils will bind quickly to something that's fatty. So that's why we're using carrier oils to bind them with, to dilute them. If you just apply it directly to your skin, what's fatty? Well, it's the fatty substance in your skin. So it's going to try to suck up really quickly and bind to the fat in your skin, which can create that sensitization and that shock to the system. The same thing happens if you're taking them internally. So you want to have something fatty enough that the essential oil is already binding to before you take it internally. And there's several other tips and precautions with internal use, but I'm not going to get fully into that today as well. Look out for some videos on that too. Okay, so we're kind of getting into why sourcing matters. Well, Young Living actually created their seed to seal standards, which explains their 8-point testing that they do from the time that the seeds are planted into the ground throughout the harvesting, the distillation process, to the bottling, to the manufacturing, all of that. There's 8 points of testing that they do to ensure that that the oils haven't deteriorated, that the quality is still up to par with their standards, that there haven't somehow gotten other byproducts into the essential oil throughout that process. And they actually repeat that same 8-point testing 3 times before the essential oils get delivered to your door. So they've actually, with Young Living being around for 25 years, they've actually set the standards in the industry for sourcing and quality. And they also own and regulate their own farms. So there's not a lot of essential oil companies that mass produce essential oils, or we should say mass distribute essential oils that own as many farms and regulate the production as much as Young Living does. So you can see that they're all throughout the world. Let's see what I missed there. So why can't you just buy essential oils at the grocery store? The big precaution with this is that unlike when you go to buy a box of cereal and you see the ingredients list, you see the fat content and all of that stuff, and you can make the decision based on, this is what's in this product. I know this is regulated. I know this is what I'm getting. Well, essential oils aren't regulated. So you can literally be buying anything in that bottle of essential oil. And there isn't a label. There's nothing that mandates that there's a label that says what's in that bottle of essential oil. I believe the standards are as low as having 7% plant material in a bottle of essential oil to be able to call it an essential oil. And then there could literally be anything else added. There could be a carrier oil, there could be other synthetic chemicals or fragrances added, anything could be added into that. So why do some companies sell oils cheaper than others? Well, I guess that's probably kind of obvious. They are really looking to make money as opposed to give you a quality product. And it's really easy to do that because you could put a few drops of essential oil with a bunch of carrier oil and some synthetic fragrances, and it still smell a bit like lavender if you're not used to smelling a completely pure lavender, and they can get away with it. So if you see inexpensive essential oils on the market, it's generally a red flag that you're not getting something that you're getting something that you don't want to put in your body. It is pretty common for things like turpentine and other chemicals to be found in essential oils when they've been studied that are in the market. And this goes the same for organic essential oils. So if you go to your Whole Foods or other companies and you buy essential oils from those organic stores, they can put a label of organic on it. But the only thing is that organic standard is only to the plant material that's in that essential oil. It's not for everything else. So you can't really trust the labels, things like phrasing like natural, phrasing like essential oils, therapeutic grade, all of that is not regulated terms. So it literally means nothing. So you got to keep that in mind. So all of the oils in the world fall into these four categories. Either 100% authentic essential oils, which is what Young Living offers. There's nothing added. There's nothing manipulated. There's no perfumes. Manipulated means that they've maybe changed the compounds or constituents of the essential oil or eliminated some compounds of it to make it smell more pleasant, or shift it however they want. Perfume essential oils really, they have different perfumes and synthetic chemicals added into it. So, and synthetic is completely manufactured in a lab and called an essential oil. So you don't really want to inadvertently be getting this, because when you apply that to your skin, or you're even breathing it in the air, what we know about essential oils is they end up in our bloodstream pretty quickly. And because essential oils are those volatile organic compounds, which means they're a really small molecule, that's what makes them be able to float in the air and us experience the aroma of it, they actually end up bypassing our blood-brain barrier and going straight to our organs. So you want to make sure you're getting the best on the market so that you're not doing a disharm to yourself, your health. The other factor is that aromatics like that, if there's added chemicals into them, added chemicals into essential oils, then that disrupts our endocrine system. It disrupts our hormones. Those are actually referred to as endocrine disruptor chemicals, or EDCs. And you'll find a lot of EDCs in your household products. There's a lot of forms of air pollution, water pollution that have EDCs in them and further disrupt your nervous system, further disrupt your health. And you don't want that in your bottle of essential oil. One other thing I want to make note of with that is that anything aromatic directly impacts our memory center. It directly impacts our emotional center and our limbic system in the brain. So that could be either for good or for harm. So if you're really stressed and there's too much stress, that there's trauma and your body is overwhelmed and there's scent and aromatics, you might continue to associate that aroma with those unpleasant sensations or experiences. And conversely to that, if you're exposed to pleasant aromatics, and this would include essential oils, that can trigger that part of the brain and support a pleasant experience. So this is why it becomes really helpful and being able to use essential oils to support our emotional and mental health and just support the atmosphere and the environment being something pleasant and uplifting, which of course can always be used to support our emotional processing or relaxation. So they are commonly used for all of those purposes. And ultimately, essential oils have been used throughout history to support any of the body systems for all of the reasons that I talked about: your nervous system, your respiratory system, your immune system, your nervous system, your mental health. All of those systems can be supported by essential oils, and of course, any of the other steps you're taking for your health. So I think we went through most of the safety tips. Because of the concentration of essential oils, a very small amount goes a long way. So they're extremely cost effective as perfumes, cleaning agents. There's a class that I do on creating a toxin-free home, where I talk about the Young Living Thieves cleaning line and also feature, here's the tips on how to get chemicals out of your home, your personal care products, cleaning products, all of those things so that your chemical load and exposure is completely reduced and you bring more energy, more vitality, more health into your life when you get rid of all of that stuff. So here's an example of one of the Young Living starter kits. This is a popular starter kit. It's the Young Living Premium Essential Oil Starter Kit, which includes a diffuser, which is at the center of the image there. And what's great about that diffuser is it has 7 different light settings, including a candle flicker setting. So get rid of all those candles with petrochemicals in them and sometimes lead and other unhealthy things, and use essential oils instead, something completely all natural. This has 12 different essential oils in it. It has some samples of their Thieves products, hand sanitizer, and alcohol spray. And there's a lot of great versatile essential oils in this starter kit that includes things like Valor, Peace and Calming, Stress Away, that are great mental and emotional supports. And things like Raven and Frankincense that will support your respiratory health, Thieves that supports your immune health, Citrus Fresh, Lemon, Peppermint, Lavender, Digest, which supports your digestive health, Panaway, which is great to rub on some sore muscles. It has some wintergreen in it. So you get all of these as kind of a versatile get yourself started with taking some healthy steps and integrating essential oils into your daily life, learning about the uses of each, which if you get the starter kit, I become a guide for you, and give you resources and help you understand how you can start using these too. So if you're interested in this kit, this is $165 for all of that, which is significantly discounted if you were to get each of these individually, and it's going to last you quite a good while. Let's see if we can get to there we go. So our next step is just kind of talking about how do you get started. So I mentioned that starter kit. If you're really confused about what do I get and what's the benefit, what are my needs, what's most economical, then just reach out to me. That would be your next step then. You can reach me, Amy Lore, at oilswonderlandteam@gmail.com. So oilswonderlandteam@gmail.com. And I can go over the whole variety of different kits and collections that would be best for the circumstances that you're trying to use them for. If you already have a sense of what you want to get started with, maybe you want to get that starter kit, it kind of appeals to you and it's exactly what makes sense, then go straight to Young Living, select what you're wanting to purchase. Consider putting a minimum $100 order in so that you get a lifetime 24% wholesale discount. So that's totally worth it. Budget that in. And it'll tell you as you're selecting things if you haven't met the minimum for that. So whatever the minimum is to get the wholesale discount, you want to definitely go that route because it's going to be the most economical. Reach out to me if you want to figure out how to finagle that. And make sure that you're entering my enroller and sponsor ID number, which is 107-749-19. So 107-749-19. And that's going to help you continue to get education, tips, and just ongoing support from me and Oils Wonderland with, some team only events and support as well. So yeah, I'm really excited for you to get started, and please reach out if you have any questions, and follow me on YouTube at Oils Wonderland to see a bunch of other mindfulness tips with essential oils and some awesome education there as well.